What is going on, you guys? My name is Nick, and welcome back to the channel. And today marks another day of Bob Chapek and his idiot friends over at Disney throwing another Pixar film, a brand new Pixar film, brand new movie, one of the best money-making studios that Disney owns. They're throwing that movie on Disney Plus. And honestly, that is such a fucking shame because Turning Red needs to be seen with a packed audience and a packed auditorium. Guys, this movie is so fucking good. I'm probably gonna butcher this poor woman's name, but Turning Red is Domishi's directorial debut following her widely successful Pixar short Bao, which premiered before Incredibles 2. And Turning Red follows a 13-year-old girl who is torn between staying as her mother's dutiful daughter and the chaos that comes with her adolescence as she becomes a young woman. Oh, and whenever she gets really excited or really anxious, whenever she really has a strong feeling, she poofs into a big red panda. One of the quickest ways to tell if a film is going to be any good is if you can feel a unique style coming from the filmmaker that is behind the movie that you're watching. And I've come to realize that, especially with bigger tentpole films from bigger studios, that style has kind of been lost in the past couple of years. Of course, you're going to have your exceptions like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and most recently The Batman, but Turning Red is a breath of fresh air into the animated genre. It doesn't really do anything to advance the genre of animation, kind of like how Into the Spider-Verse did with how it changed the way that we see animation. They kind of did that, comic booky esque animation. Turning Red takes a little bit of a different approach. It keeps that same typical Pixar animation that we're used to seeing, but it kind of weaves anime into it. So like in particular, if a character is starting to tear up or whatever, you know how in anime they have those really glossy eyes to show that there's tears in the character's eyes. They do that within this film, and they do that in other minute ways throughout the movie. So weaving anime and Pixar animation together, it kind of helps create the DNA for the film. And to me, in order for a movie to really succeed on what it's doing, it needs to not only have a great story, but it needs to have a solid DNA, a solid foundation and style to what you're watching, because it just makes it a whole hell of a lot more relatable and fun to get into if there's a specific style to it, right? Like the Suicide Squad is very bombastic, very bloody, very colorful. I think you get what I'm trying to say here, that the style of a film just does nothing but add to the viewer's experience with the movie. And as I'm making this review, I'm finding myself often comparing Turning Red to Into the Spider-Verse, but honestly, that's kind of a good thing. Spider-Verse was one of my favorite movies of the year back in 2018, and so much of why I love that film is kind of echoed here in Turning Red, even from the very opening to the very end. Like the way the movie opens, it is Mei Ling, who is the main character. She's kind of introducing you to the world, setting the stage for the world that we're about to see for the next hour and 40 minutes, almost like the way Peter Parker did at the beginning of Into the Spider-Verse. And then by the end of the film, in Turning Red, Mei Ling is also talking to the viewer as well, kind of setting the stage for where things could be going in the future, much like Into the Spider-Verse. But another way that Turning Red kind of reminds me of Into the Spider-Verse is the way that composer for Turning Red, I'm probably going to butcher this guy's name as well, Ludwig Göransson, he expertly mashes Chinese music and hip-hop music together, and I didn't really pick this up until about halfway through it, but that type of mashing of the traditional Chinese music and more modern hip-hop, it kind of mirrors the lifelong tradition that Mei Ling feels expected that she has to follow in regards to living up to her mother's expectations, while the hip-hop kind of captures that chaotic energy that Mei Ling feels as she starts to become a young woman, and those feelings aren't really fully expressible until she transforms into the panda. In all honesty, you guys, I don't think I have any issues with this film. It's not a 10 out of 10 perfect movie, but it is pretty damn close. You can really tell that there were hundreds of hours of blood, sweat, and tears poured into each and every scene, whether it's an action scene or it's just a shot of a bedroom. There is so much detail, so much fun little Easter eggs in this movie. I'm geeking out talking about it. And there isn't a dull moment throughout. This is a tight hour and 40-minute film that families all over the world are going to enjoy. If you have access to Disney Plus, then please check it out. I think Turning Red is playing in very select, minute theaters. It doesn't have a worldwide release, but it's going to be playing in a few select cinemas, I believe. So if you can see it in a theater, please go check it out in a theater. That's the way it was supposed to be seen. That's the way the creators behind the film want you to see the movie. But, Bob Chapek has to throw it on Disney Plus so he can get higher numbers, so he can show it to his investors, and they'll be like, well, Disney Plus is really profiting, subscribers are really going up. Meanwhile, he's completely screwing over his entire creative team in the studios that make him the fucking money that he sits on. Anyway, that's a whole new that's a whole other issue that I'm not going to talk about. Overall, you guys, I am going to give Turning Red a solid 5 out of 5. Now, I know I had said this movie wasn't a 10 out of 10, but if I could give this movie any grade, it would have to be a 5 out of 5. I was not bored whatsoever throughout this entire film. The emotional beats, the emotional moments hit every time they were supposed to. The characters were lovable and relatable. The style of this film jumps off of the screen at you. It makes you just want to jump into the movie and be a part of it. So, of course, this movie is a 5 out of 5. Is it The Godfather? No, but does it have to be? Does it really have to be in order for me to give it a 5 out of 5? Turning Red is easily the best Pixar film we have had since probably Incredibles 2 or Toy Story 4, whichever one you prefer over the other. Man, yeah, this movie was such a great change of pace for animation. I enjoyed Luca and I enjoyed Soul. I have enjoyed all of the Disney properties that they've released the past couple of years, but Turning Red is just, it is such a fresh breath of fresh air, and I keep saying that. So if you guys have the time to check it out on Disney Plus, feel free to. If you guys can't see it in the theater, then also please try to do that. That is the way it's supposed to be seen. But yeah, you guys, if you have seen Turning Red, please feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, and let's start a dialogue. I love to talk about this movie. It just dropped today on Disney Plus. I woke up a couple hours ago, watched it. Now I'm recording and editing this video so I can get this up as soon as possible for you guys. Yeah, you guys, that's going to be all for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.